Hi all, today we are going to discuss about Verlet loop test for detecting the location of faults of the cables. So it is used for locating the earth fault and short circuit faults of underground cables. So in the last class we have seen the Murray loop test. So it is different than the Murray loop test in the following concerns. The first one is, in the case of Murray loop test, we have taken the information of resistance per unit length while calculating the distance of the fault. But in this method, we are not depending on the resistance per unit length which is provided by the company. Here we are going to directly calculate the total rope resistance involving the cable using the experimental method, rather than directly depending on the data provided by the companies. And the second one, the ratio of the arms PQ, the ratio arms whichever are there P and Q, they are fixed here, and the balance is obtained by adjusting a variable resistance S which is connected to the test end of the faulty cable. Let us see the first setup for the case of earth fault. So we will do the derivation, then we will go for the case of the short circuit fault. So I am making the circuit here. So the circuit will be like this. Here in this case, this is the branch of the Wheatstone bridge. This is P and this is Q. So this end will be connected to a battery source. Let us assume this is my battery source. So now coming to the remaining connection. So this will be connected to the cable. So this cable should be the sound cable or a healthy cable. So there is a sound cable or a healthy cable which is running parallel to the faulty cable and having the same length. This is the basic requirement for performing any one of these. Last class test what we have discussed, Murray test or this test, one sound cable is required or a healthy cable is required. So this is the test end and this is the far end of this cable. So similarly, whatever the testing cable we want to do, let us assume this testing cable is located here. This cable is having some earth fault. This earth fault has happened to some fault resistance. So this is my earth fault that is happened in the cable. Let us assume it happened at a distance of X from the sending end, and this second side of the cables we connect them together using a low resistance connection. That means we connect them using low resistance connection. So these are connected. So this is my faulty cable. So now what we do, here there will be a galvanometer. This galvanometer will be connected through some switch to this point. So now this is connected to this cable using some variable resistance. That variable resistance I am representing by S. So now coming to the switch, how this battery is connected to this. So first one connection will be taken from here. This will be connected to some point A. And similarly, there will be a second point which will be connected to ground. This point is B. So it will have the single pole double throw switch. So it is called as SPDT switch. That means single pole. That means it will have a single tongue only or the single terminal which will be connected to two different terminals. That's why it is called as a double throw. It can be either connected to A or can be connected to B. So this I am representing as S suffix W. That means this can be shifted to the second one whenever we want. So now let us see how to make the calculations. So initially what we will do, we will connect to position number A. So when you connect to position number 1, that means this SW is connected to position number A. I am drawing the equivalent circuit. So first one I am taking the position number A. So in that case, you will get your circuit like this. This is P. This is my value of Q. There is a galvanometer that is connected. So this resistance of the cable, you can see this resistance up to the junction, up to this junction resistance will be, let us take this value of the resistance. This resistance I am taking as R up to this fault location, which is unknown to us, R and X. So this will be equal to R. And this junction is connected to X because battery is not connected to ground. So the earth fault doesn't have any significance when you are measuring this. So this will be equal to R plus X. That means complete cable length R plus X is connected to this one. Now coming to this branch. So this branch is equal to the variable resistance. So which is equal to S. Okay. So now there is a battery. This battery is connected to this point. So the battery is connected to this point. So let us keep the terminals. Let us take for example, this I am taking as A. This I am taking as, or we can keep some different names. So D. So let us take it as E. So this point is a D and this point is equal to E. This point is equal to E and this point let us take it as F. So this point will be F and this point I am taking as G, so this point is G. So this is the equivalent. So now we will vary the value of S and bring it to the balance position. So whenever it is balanced, let us take this one value will be equal to, under balance means galvanometer should show 0 reading. So let us take the value as S1. So under Wheatstone bridge balance condition, I can write the equation. So I am writing the equation here only. So this I can write as R plus X divided by the S1 will be equal to P divided by Q. Here you can see balance is obtained by only by varying the value of S. It is different when compared to the last method. So from this I can calculate my value of R plus X is equal to P by Q times of S1. So let us take it as equation number 1. So here what I am getting? I am getting the total resistance of the cable. R plus X means total resistance of the two cables or the loop resistance of the cables, because we are considering the complete loop. So that R plus X indicates the loop resistance of the cable. So this we are going to use instead of directly depending on what is the resistance per unit length. So now once this is measured, so what we will do, we will change the switch to position number 2. So now I am changing to position number 2, then we will see what will be the condition. So I have changed it to position number B. So when we change to position number B, you can see here this will be the closing path. So when this is the closing path, I am drawing the equivalent circuit here. So the equivalent circuit again, this point is equal to G. For the G there is P and this is equal to Q and there is a galvanometer. So there is a battery that is connected. This is obtained. Now coming from the G, you can see that from point number D, it is connected up to this point only. Up to this point only because it is closing through the circuit. So let us take this point as H. So whatever is connected up to H will be connected in this. So what is connected up to H? The resistance that is connected up to H will be R only. So now from the H onwards up to the remaining part, this part. So this entire part will be connected to this bridge. So what is the entire part that is connected? Two things are there. One is a variable resistance R and there is one more resistance that depends on the value of X. X is the value of unknown value or the distance. So H, so this value is equal to F. Getting it? So this H is connected through the ground back to the battery. So I hope you are able to visualize. So X is now connected in the circuit S. So under again S is varied so that this value of S under balance condition I am taking as equal to S2. So under balance conditions, so this I can write as R divided by X plus S2. Here you may be confusing little bit. So I am providing the complete handwritten material in the description of this video. You can please download the handwritten material from there. Here you try to understand the concepts what I am teaching. And the remaining required theory for your exams or for revision, you can please refer to that handwritten material. I have provided in the description of this video, there is a Google Drive link. So still if you have doubt after that, then anyway you can contact me by leaving a comment in the comment section of this video. So now I am proceeding further. So both sides I am adding plus 1. So this will become R plus X plus S2 plus 1. So this is P plus Q plus 1 because 1 I can add in both the sides. So when I add it, this will become R plus X plus S2 divided by X plus S2 will be equal to P plus Q divided by Q. This is what we get. So from this I can calculate my value of X. So the value of X will be this X plus S2 I can take to the second side. So let us write it X plus X2. This will be equal to that Q will be multiplied with this entire thing. So this will be R plus X times of Q plus S2 into Q divided by P plus Q. You agree with me? So from this I can calculate my value of X is equal to this S will come to the second side. This will become R plus X times of Q plus S2 into Q. That minus S2 when I am taking the denominator as common P plus Q. This will become equal to minus S2 into P plus Q. This is what we get. So when you are minimizing this one, so this will become R plus X into Q minus S2 times of P divided by P plus Q. This is my value of the X that is obtained. Let us take it as equation number 2. So here P value we know, Q value we know, the value of S2 is under balance condition we know. So here R plus X, so I use from equation number 1. So from equation number 1. So whatever is obtained from the first test, that value will be replaced here while calculating. That is a major advantage of this method. Now coming to the length, we know that the resistance up to some particular distance depending on the length, because R is equal to rho L by A, or the resistance is proportional to the length. So we can tell that X depends on, let us assume the length up to point X from the sending end I am taking as L suffix X. So X is directly proportional to Lx. Similarly, R plus X is my loop resistance. It is proportional to the loop length. Total loop length, let us take L is the length of each cable. Total loop length will be equal to 2 times of L because 2 cables are in loop. So from this I can take the ratio because proportionality constant remaining terms are same because cables are made up of same material. So I can write it as X divided by R plus X is equal to Lx divided by 2L. Remember here I can make this ratio because R is equal to rho L divided by A. So material should be of same type and the area of cross section also should be same. That means this method can be applied only if the area of cross section of the cable is uniform throughout the length of the cable. Then only this method can be applied as well as our previous method also. Please remember this one. So from this I can calculate my value of Lx is equal to X divided by R plus X times of 2L. Or we can tell that the value of length of the fault or the distance of the fault is X calculated from equation number 2 divided by R plus X calculated from this equation, because X we know, the value of R is known. So R plus X will substitute. This will be multiplied by the loop length of the cable. So this way we can calculate it. Now coming to those both Murle and Vere loop test. So this method has a limitations. So both methods are valid only if area of cross section is uniform throughout the length of the cable. Otherwise we cannot calculate it properly. And the second one, there are minimum number of joints in the cable. Because whenever the cable jointing is done, there the resistance will increase. So we are assuming that the resistance is uniform, but that is wrong because at the joint the resistance is increasing or the net series resistance will be more than what we are actually assumed. So automatically whatever value we calculate, it will give a rough value, not the exact location of the fault if more joints are involved. This is the second one. And the third one, when the cable temperature is increased, so automatically the resistance is increased or decreased depending on the temperature. So the effect of the temperature also should be considered while making these calculations so that the errors will be avoided. So these care should be taken care while applying this Verlet loop test or this Murre loop test. So let us take one example so that this method will be completely clear to you. So in Verlet loop test, the faulty and sound cables are identical with 0.5 ohms per kilometer. The ratio arms are set at 20 ohms and 30 ohms. Values of variable resistance connected to faulty cable are 20 ohms and 10 ohms at two positions of single pole double throw switch, that means SPDT switch. So it is asked, determine the length of each cable. This is the first one asked, and the second one, the fault distance from the test end. It is also asked to find the fault distance from the set end. So let us try to solve this one. So when it is at position number 1, we know the value is R plus X divided by S1 is equal to P divided by Q, or from this I can calculate my value of R plus X is equal to P by Q times of S1. You agree with me? So I am just substituting the values. It is 20 divided by 30 into 20. So this will be equal to 13.33 ohms. So this is the total resistance of the both coils combined together. So each cable will be half of this. So we can tell that the resistance of each cable is equal to 13.33 divided by 2 ohms. Agree with me? So now let us calculate the length of each cable. This is what is asked, and resistance per unit length is given. So you just divide this resistance by resistance per unit length. So divided by 2, this side divided by resistance per unit length is given as 0.5 ohms. So this will come as 13.33 kilometers. Because this is in ohms, this is ohms per kilometer. So kilometer will come to numerator. So this will be the thing. So now when it is in the second position, this value will be R plus R divided by X plus S2 is equal to P divided by Q. Or from this, if you are simplifying, so I am directly writing the answer because we have already simplified this. X is equal to R plus X times of Q minus S2 into P divided by P plus Q. You agree with me? So this I am substituting, this will be 13.33 multiplied by 30 minus 10 multiplied by 20 divided by 20 plus 30. So when you substitute this, you will get it as 3.998 ohms. So now I am calculating the distance of fault. The distance of fault will be 3.998 divided by how much is the resistance per kilometer is 0.5. So this will become equal to 7.966 kilometer. In this numerical, distance per kilometer is resistance per kilometer is directly given. If it is not given, in that case you have to go with this method. That means Lx is equal to X divided by R plus X into loop length. Using this method you have to go, because I have taken the easy numerical so that I can complete in time. I hope that Verlet loop test and Murray loop test is completely clear to you, and if you still have any queries, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. I will answer to your queries from there. Thank you very much.